Looking up, the stars appear as scattered light, but to Babylonian astronomers, the night sky was a grid of information, waiting to be read. We often credit the Greeks, or the scholars of 14th century Europe, with inventing the geometry of motion. However, Babylonian records suggest this method of tracking the planets is much older. Deep within the ruins of Babylon, archaeologists recovered hundreds of cuneiform tablets dating between 350 and 50 BCE. These baked clay fragments contain the procedural instructions for calculating planetary movement. This diagram reveals a transition from simple counting to abstract mapping. To track Jupiter across the sky, they plotted its changing daily velocity against time, calculating the total distance traveled by finding the area of the trapezoid formed under that graph. By translating the movement of a planet into a geometric area, the Babylonians demonstrated that celestial behavior followed a predictable logic, a system that could be decoded through human calculation. That predictability provided a model for the city itself. The hierarchy discovered in the heavens served as the blueprint for the architecture on the ground. Building a terrestrial reflection of the cosmos requires materials, yet the Mesopotamian floodplains offered almost no stone or timber. The empire was built from the only resources available in abundance: mud and water. Turning river clay into towering ziggurats and defensive walls was a sacred task. Molding and baking a brick was viewed as a form of alchemy, a process that transformed common earth into a permanent structure. This undertaking fell to the Umanu, elite experts who served as engineers, ritual practitioners, and craftsmen. They designed the empire's infrastructure using a blend of mathematics and secret scholarly traditions. Their objective was to construct an imperial capital that functioned as an activated physical conduit for divine power. In the 6th century BCE, King Nebuchadnezzar the Second initiated a reconstruction of Babylon. The focal point of this project was the city's main northern entrance. This is the Ishtar Gate, a double-arched gateway standing nearly 15 meters high, designed to project royal authority and the protective presence of the gods. The gate's striking color required advanced chemical engineering. Artisans created a silica-based glaze, adding copper compounds and firing the bricks at high temperatures to produce a deep blue that mimicked the vibrancy of lapis lazuli. Woven into this blue facade are raised reliefs of bulls, lions, and the mythical Mushushu dragon. The engineering is exact. The seams of the individual bricks were calculated to avoid cutting through the eyes or the detailed features of the beasts. These figures performed a specific ritual function. Over 120 lions and dragons lined the gate and the adjoining processional way, serving as protectors to secure the sacred interior of the city. By constructing the gate out of baked clay, cedar wood, and blue glaze, the specific materials described in mechs of the goddess Ishtar, the architects turned the entryway into a physical extension of the goddess herself. Beyond the gate stood the Eta Menonki, a massive ziggurat known as the foundation of heaven and earth. Rising 90 meters into the sky, it provided the historical model for the biblical Tower of Babel. Yet the structure most famously associated with the city is missing. Greek and Roman historians praised the Hanging Gardens of Babylon as a terraced wonder, but they are absent from Babylonian cuneiform records and physical excavations. Early archaeologists believed they had found the gardens in vaulted underground ruins. Later analysis proved those arches were strictly for grain storage, and there is no evidence that Babylonian ziggurats ever supported trees or foliage. Modern scholarship points to a different location. Assyriologist Stephanie Daly suggests the Hanging Gardens were actually built 300 miles north in Nineveh, engineered by the Assyrian king Sennacherib, whose inscriptions document a massive terraced palace garden. After Sennacherib sacked Babylon, he attempted to rebrand Nineveh as a new Babylon. Centuries later, classical writers likely conflated the two capitals, assigning the botanical achievement of the Assyrians to Nebuchadnezzar's city. Babylon did not need the Hanging Gardens. Its verifiable achievements, the geometric tracking of the stars, and the engineering of its glazed fortifications, were the physical evidence that anchored the city's legend. The Babylonians recognized that a logical universe and an engineered capital required a standardized society. Human behavior had to be regulated with the same precision as the architecture. That standard took the form of this 8-foot basalt stele, commissioned by King Hammurabi. It remains a physical manifestation of bureaucratic control and law. At the top of the monument, the sun god Shamash hands the rod and ring of justice to the king. This relief places the origin of the law in the divine realm, positioning the king as the earthly administrator of a cosmic decree. Below the figures is a catalog of 282 specific laws. Written in Akkadian cuneiform, they regulate property rights, commercial contracts, and the principle of retaliation, an eye for an eye. This code functioned as a set of predictable social parameters. By standardizing the resolution of disputes, the laws transformed the population into a reliable machine of governance. This civilization was maintained by scribe scholars who recorded and protected secret traditions across medicine, law, and astronomy on clay tablets surviving for thousands of years. Their sexagesimal mathematics still structures our lives, establishing the 60-minute hour and the 360-degree circle. Their models for tracking planetary motion provided the foundation for the zodiac and early scientific logic. Their immense brickwork and systematic urban grids directly influenced the city planning of the later Hellenistic world. By integrating mathematics, architecture, and law, the Babylonians built a framework of human order that would serve as the foundation for the modern world.